Taxi violence in the Western Cape has claimed 56 lives between January 1st and the 17th of August this year. This is according to the province's Transport and Public Works MEC, Bonginkosi Madikizela, who warned taxi associations of the possible closure of taxi ranks and routes if the violence and shooting incidents do not stop immediately. He joins us now on the phone to tell us a little bit more. MEC, good evening and thank you for your time tonight. 56 people, 106 arrests. You don't think, according to the National Land Transport Act, you've got enough factors now to actually close down that taxi rank while you deal with the situation?
Not really, Tabo. Thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. Look, I've given myself enough time to engage the leaders in the taxi industry. There are a number of issues that they are raising, and I strongly believe that we will be able to find each other. Last week, I just had a meeting with two separate associations that seem to be at loggerheads because of the routes. I've given them until the 10th of this month, which is Thursday, for them to respond to the resolutions of the meeting, and then we'll take it from there. Really, closing of the route and the rank should be the very last resort from my side, because I know that does not solve the problem, really. You know. So, if my hand is forced for me to get to that point, as I said, it will after I've exhausted all avenues.
But in the meantime, violence, unrest, instability continues. In fact, some of the taxi ranks in the Western Cape are like a war zone, threatening the safety of passengers and the communities around there.
Yes, it is true. But if you look at the nature of these violence, Tabo, is that the leaders, in fact, are targeting each other. There are very few instances where innocent passengers were caught in a crossfire. I think we've seen that in Bellville and we've seen that in Delft. But by and large, we also saw it in Khayelitsha. But by and large, you find that they're targeting each other. And of course, I'm not saying that we should lose many lives before I take drastic measures, but I believe that that's not going to be a solution on its own. We need to deal with the issues at hand. And as I said, I mean, I'm engaging the taxi industry leaders. I'm engaging the planning authorities, municipalities. I'm waiting, for the feedback on the resolutions. We have the mediators that are working with us to deal with the matter, and I must commend that. Because those perpetrators have been arrested. So there are a number of things that are happening. It's not as if nothing is happening. Yeah. But it is important that we find a solution, a lasting solution, because to embark on a cosmetic exercise of closing a rank is not necessarily a solution.
Yeah. But you keep meeting. I mean, what is that meeting resulting in? In July, when you were meeting, actually, the taxi associations were expressing less confidence in government intervention in this particular matter. Have you received a preliminary report that points to you what the root cause of this violence is?
Yes, I'm very much aware of what the root cause of the violence is. The main issue is that there is a contestation in a number of routes. I think this is historic. I think this matter was left unattended to for a very long time, in fact, for years. You have a situation where it was normalized for one association to invade a route that is operated by another association with no consequences. And I think we must take responsibility as well as government for that. Not that I'm condoning violence, but we must own up in areas where we didn't act as soon as we should have. And that is why, the engagements are looking at all those, solutions where government must play its role, the taxi industry leaders must also play their role, local authorities must play their role. And I'm quite hopeful, Tibos, that we will find each other.
So you've got taxi owners who do floor crossing from one association to another. And I believe this is at the heart of what has been complained about. They take the permits and cross over and use the same permits in another association. How are you going to resolve that?
Well, I mean, if you have a situation where a route is registered under a particular association, when you leave that association and join another one, I mean, you can't leave returning. Because if we register a route under one association, that route must be operated by that particular association. Because once you decide to leave and join another association, you forfeit the right for you to operate in that route. It's as simple as that, Tibos.
Now, we've seen a similar situation playing out here in Gauteng, ending up in a one-of-a-kind type of agreement between the taxi associations and the community to declare the taxi ranks gun-free zones. And that took a collaborative effort between government, the taxi association themselves, but also getting the views of the members of the community. Now, they've been calling upon you, MEC, to hold that taxi indaba where these issues are going to be done. You haven't issued a date on that taxi indaba. When is it going to happen?
Well, I'm sure you are aware that the national minister has called for a taxi indaba stroke summit. We are having a midnight meeting tomorrow to plan for the provincial one. We will make a decision after tomorrow's meeting as to when the provincial one will be, because all of us in provinces must have the provincial lehotlas or imbizos in preparation for the national one. And I think this is part of a multi-pronged approach that we are taking, people in the province, to really get the industry working together. Because the biggest issue, of course, which is going to be discussed at the taxi indaba, is the formalization of the industry. And challenges around that. But ultimately, we've got to have a formal relationship with the taxi industry, because in the Western Cape, it transports almost 50% of the people who are using public transport. So it is in my best interest then to make sure that the industry is formalized.
Isn't there taken a view, MEC, if those reports are correct, that you don't want to, I suppose, just deal with the inkabis? You're saying those are the small guys. You want to get to the guys that actually are hiring the inkabis. Is that the approach that you're taking?
No, absolutely. I mean, this becomes a vicious circle. Because the important thing is for us to get to the kingpin. And the members of SEPS, who are my partners, are doing everything they can. And there's a very good progress in that regard, Tibos. Because, to arrest Inkabi, you're not going to solve the problem. You've got to get to the people who are hiring Inkabi. Because those are the people who need to face this in full might of the law. And I have been preaching this to the leaders of the taxi industry that, this is really creating a very bad, impression about the industry itself. Killing each other is not going to solve the problem, and that is why I've made it very clear to my partners in the SAPS that the people that I really want are the kingpins, those people who are paying the hitmen, because it's like arresting the small boys in the corner who are selling drugs instead of going after the big fishes.
And have you managed to see any breakthroughs in those investigations?
We are making very good progress. And I think you might be aware that we have a number of cases, 56 cases in the court roll as we speak, and a number of people, more than 100 people arrested. And I think that those arrests are actually giving us a very clear picture as to who are the kingpins. And I will not be, divulging too much at this stage, but I must commend the members of SEPS in this regard because they are making a very good progress.
Now, as far as commuters are concerned, what is being done then to guarantee their safety at taxi rank? Are you beefing up security there, police visibility? What is actually happening?
Well, in areas that have been very volatile, like Bellville taxi rank, We've been assisted by the members of SAPS and including the members of SANPF. I visited the rank, a couple of times myself, and the members of SANPF and SAPS were there. And I mean, same thing applies in Delft. There are members of SAPS that are there. But that will not be a permanent arrangement. I mean, you can't have SAPS, looking after the taxi instead of going after the criminals. And that is why we have to find each other. And that is why I'm working day and night for us to understand that what is in the best interest of the industry itself, because I'm more concerned about the safety of the commuters. But the industry must understand that it's in their best interest for their business to flourish and deal with this, this issue of killing each other.